Hey, what's up everybody? Jake here and welcome to the hobby. I've had this thought on the back of my head for a long time now and I've kind of struggled to put it down into words, but follow along with today's video because it's kind of a crazy one. But this is not me trying to attack the community. I'm not trying to call anyone out specifically, but I'll tell you what it is that I think Pokemon card investing is kind of a scam, and I mean that in the most reasonable way possible, is that whole entire side of the hobby is kind of a lie. And what I mean by that is that if you're someone that's been investing in Pokemon cards for the past year or two, your portfolio or your collection is probably not doing any better than a Pokemon card collector. In fact, if you're someone that's investing in Pokemon cards, your collection is probably doing worse than most genuine Pokemon card collector. So let me follow through my thought process for you and see if you get to the same conclusion that I have. All right. What are some of the most common cards that Pokemon card investors or the Pokemon card investing community talks about? The Umbreon VMAX, okay? Probably the most investor bro card ever. Here's the thing. The Umbreon VMAX didn't move. If you've been collecting the Umbreon VMAX, or I guess investing in it, it's dead. It's flat. You saw zero growth in this card over the past year. This card started off last year at right around $1,700, and it ended the year right around $1,700. Let's talk about another investor bro heavy card, or this is one of the most popular cards inside of in Pokemon card investing content creator thumbnails. If you have a Pokemon card investing creator, something of that nature, this is one of the most common card that is talked about, the Magikarp from Paldea Evolved. Here's the thing, the Magikarp from Paldea Evolved is flat, it's dead. It saw zero growth last year. Again, another card from a lot of Pokemon card investing subreddits or forum. And I follow a lot of these communities because I want to follow them. I need to know what the hobby's talking about. I want to know what other collectors and Pokemon card investors are talking about. I want to know if they got something interesting to talk about. But the thing is, the content is incredibly boring because a lot of Pokemon card investors or Pokemon card investing content creators, they recycle the same group of cards again and again and again. And you'll see these cards constantly. The Umbreon VMAX, the Magikarp from Paldea Evolved, the Charizard EX from 151, another card that's super common that's appearing inside of videos again and again and again in their thumbnail is the Mega Charizard X EX from the latest set, Phantasmal Flames. No one who's investing in Pokemon cards should be investing in this card. And I'll tell you, people are. They think that this is the card to invest in. In fact, I have a friend of mine, someone who I play video games with. They messaged me in November that they started buying up some cards because they want to get back into the hobby. And one of the cards that they picked up was this Mega Charizard X EX. And they probably picked up this card because they got exposed to a lot of that content. But here's the thing. They picked up this card right on November 10th, which is probably one of the worst time to ever pick up this card. They picked up this card on November 10th. I know that because they messaged me on Discord on November 10th that they picked up this card. And if you're someone that's been around at the hobby for a long time, you'll probably say, oh, this is a terrible time to pick up this card. And the reason that they probably bought this card was because they were exposed to a lot of Pokemon card investing content. If you picked up the Umbreon VMAX, the Magikarp from Paldea Evolved, or the Charizard EX because you love that card, that's completely fine. I'm not critiquing your collecting habits. You can collect whatever you want. But I'll tell you, a lot of people who are buying these cards are not because they genuinely love these cards, but because they just get bombarded with these cards again and again. People can't stop talking about cards like the Umbreon VMAX, the Magikarp from Paldea Evolved, or the Charizard EX. I'm just showing you some examples. But all these cards are pretty much dead. They're flat in the water. That's what I mean when I say Pokemon card investing content is incredibly boring. And in fact, if you're someone that's been investing in cards, like if you only buy cards that investor bros are talking about, you're probably doing worse than most Pokemon card collectors. And I can prove that. Let's show you guys some examples of cards that are actually climbing. And the thing about these cards is that no investors are talking about them. For example, the Mimikyu GX from the Sun and Moon era. It's doing incredibly well. This card last year was going for $70, and right now at the start of this year, it's going for $190. That's an insane climb. Is any Pokemon card investor talking about it? No. Is this card in any thumbnail? No. Why not? Why not? I'll show you some more examples. So Rayquaza GX is currently going for $115 last year, actually, and right now it's going for $220. It doubled in a year. No Pokemon card investor bros are talking about it, or any Pokemon card investing content creator. They're recycling the same cards in their thumbnails and their topics again and again, and it's like the same 10 cards. Another one, the Umbreon Prime card. It saw incredible climb last year. It was going for $120 at the start of last year, and at the beginning of this year, it's going for $330. That's a 3x. That's a massive climb. No one's talking about it. The Gengar Prime card. It was $110 last year. Now it's going for $366, tripled in price. If there were people that wanted to invest in Pokemon cards, these are the cards that if I was a Pokemon card investing content creator, I would probably talk about. But they're not being talked about. So what I mean is that if you're someone that just collect cards that you like, especially older cards, if you just bought this card, because I'll tell you, no Pokemon card investors are buying these cards, you probably saw significant more better results inside of your collection or inside of your portfolio than an investor bro. Because guess what? If someone just jumped into the hobby and they were like, hey man, I heard Pokemon card investing is incredibly popular. I know a lot of Pokemon cards are climbing up in value. I want to get started. The content that they're being exposed to will tell them, bro, you got to pick up the Umbreon VMAX. You got to have yourself a PSA 10 Magikarp, and you probably want a Charizard EX. In fact, you might want to pick up a Mega Charizard X. It's one of the latest cards, but it's incredibly popular. But guess what? All of these cards are flat or dead in the water. They're not really climbing. The cards that are actually climbing are collector cards. Cards like the Meloetta EX from Legendary Treasure. This card went for $10 last year, and now it's going for close to $40. That's a 3x, 4x multiplier on a very old card from 2013. The Reshiram, again from the Legendary Treasure Radiant Collection. This card was going for $28 last year, and right now it's going for $110. The Primal Kyogre. It was going for right around $100 last year, and now it's going for $285. Again, massive climbs. That's like a 3x multiplier. Primal Groudon. It was going for $120 last year, and now it's going for upwards of over $300. Again, a 3x multiplier. These cards are not appearing in investing content. The cards that are appearing in investing content are flat or boring. It's the same cards again and again. And as someone who just consumes this content, I'm not speaking as a content creator. I'm speaking as someone who just consumes Pokemon card related content and who's just someone in the hobby. I want the content from the investing side to be better. You're investing in Pokemon cards. You're taking massive risk by making big moves for the purpose of, and ultimately the purpose of investing in something is to see the prices climb. But here's the thing, if someone's investing in cards, their collection probably is down or flat over the past year. If you've been buying a bunch of Investor Bros cards, those cards didn't really see any growth. The cards that did are pretty much everything else. Everything that's not Pokemon card investment conversational is climbing right now. So if you saw your collection climb, you probably just bought a bunch of cards because you thought that they were neat. And here's the thing, there's nothing special about these cards. The cards that I'm showing in today's video are not special. In fact, no one is talking about any of these cards. Rainbow Rare cards are considered some of the most uninvestable cards in the hobby. Prime cards, in fact, I know where I picked some prime examples, haha, pun intended, like the Umbreon and Gengar, but prime cards are actually some of the most underappreciated cards in the hobby, but they saw a 3x multiplier to 4x multiplier last year, but no investment content creators talking about them. So I guess the point of today's video is to really nail it home. I did a video recently where I'm trying to experiment if Pokemon card investing even works. And that sounds a little bit clickbaity, but the point of it is that as someone who's been collecting Pokemon cards for the longest time, I don't know if Pokemon card investing actually works. Or if you're just collecting neat cards. If collecting just neat cards is what climbed, then that's not really investing, because the content that are investing content are talking about a very small group of cards, and none of the cards that they're talking about that are investable are actually climbing. The cards that are the prime examples, like I said, I'm just picking some prime examples. Umbreon VMAX, Paldea Evolved Magikarp, Charizard EX from 151. These are the prime cards that appear inside of Pokemon card investing content creator thumbnails. They saw zero climb. They're being talked about constantly, but they saw zero climb. So if you're someone that's investing cards, you probably did really poorly last year, in fact, which is crazy because last year is supposed to be one of the hottest years ever to invest in Pokemon cards. But if you're someone that's just casually collecting cards that you think are truly neat, you probably did really well. If you're new to the hobby, though, it's really unfortunate because you're bombarded with this content. You're bombarded with content that constantly talks about the Umbreon VMAX, the Magikarp from Paldea Evolve, the Mega Charizard X EX, and so you think, oh, these are the cards that I should be picking up if I want these cards to climb. And I'm talking about viewers who specifically want to pick up cards so that they climb up in value. They're probably doing really bad. So maybe at the end of the day, Pokemon card investing is kind of fake, and if you're just collecting good cards that you like, and especially cards that are out of print and out of stock, you'll just do well. There's nothing special about any of these cards, by the way. These cards that I'm talking about span decades, multiple different decades, from the early generation to XY to the Radiant Collection to Sun and Moon. Like, these are all from different generation, but it doesn't matter. As long as you're collecting what you like and they're slightly older, you probably saw significant climbs. And if you're investing in cards that are the most investor bro heavy cards, you probably did really poorly. So let me know what your thoughts are. I hope this video made sense. This video is not really to attack anyone. This video is more of a critique on Pokemon card investing in general. Is that I think the content is neat. I want Pokemon card investing content to do better, because right now it feels like I'm being recycled the same couple of cards again and again and again, and it's incredibly boring content. And as someone who digests a lot of Pokemon card investing content, I want it to be more exciting. Come on, guys. Show me something that I haven't seen before. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know what your thoughts are on today's video. It's kind of a weird one, but I really wanted to talk about this topic, and this was the only way that I could communicate it down easily. So thank you so much, and I'll see you guys next time.